Welcome to Bitcoin Crypto. The best way is if you became a millionaire, would you keep working? I want to tell you guys something. What's going on right now is California's trying to figure out about crypto. My name is Ben. Where's my balls?
Welcome to Bitcoin Crypto, home of the BitSquad, the largest and greatest crypto community in all of the interwebs. No channels working harder to keep you in the know when it comes to crypto. This is Wednesday, September 7th, 11:32 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Ben, it's day 2 of him hunting the bear that crashed Bitcoin. We're going to keep you up to date on the progress there, but I'm remaining cautiously optimistic, and I think maybe when he comes back, the bottom was in. I don't know, man. What odds would you put at that? 50-50?
Yeah, 50-50. I think maybe what we saw yesterday was the bear getting a little scared, getting on the run a little bit, and getting closer to the bottom. So.
Yeah. Try to pull like a little scene, for the Revenant. Took a little swipe at Leo. Leo, he recovered though, and there's going to be a round 2, and I'm leaning towards more and more. I'm leaning towards maybe 17 was the bottom. I don't know. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying every day I'm leaning a little bit more closely in that direction. Even though we had a little bit of a dump yesterday, it looked like a lot of people sold a lot of Bitcoin. And we're going to get into that. And Frank's got some really good Glassnode data you're going to want to see. You definitely don't want to miss that. And I think it might enlighten a lot of people of some of this price action we've seen. But let's get right into it. NFT Alpha, if you're not subscribed already, make sure you're subbed. 20,200. We just put out this great Origins of Claymates, Origin of Claymation video. Really good stuff. If you want to know how to buy a Cardano NFT, have that as the last video there. Follow my Twitter. All right, 35,900. 35,000 feels good, but I wonder what 36,000 would feel like. Let's go to, hey, this is a real story. Just minutes before I went to air, my Aunt Lori, shout out to Aunt Lori in Washington State. She messaged me. I almost want to read it just so I can, accurately describe what she texted me. She said, "Hey, have you messaged me on Instagram? If you haven't, you've been hacked." I had to let her know. I was like, no, it's not hacked. Scammers everywhere. And she said, which one is you? So make sure you're following the right DZ4687. I think I was right there pretty much yesterday. So I like to try to get that up to 5,000. Some of the scammers have more followers than me. It's not cool. I got to try to make some more IG posts or something. I guess I got to go sit on a yacht in the sunset and, hold a little martini flute and say, "I love Bitcoin," or I don't know. What's the trendy stuff besides Reels on Instagram?
No, it's just Reels.
It's just Reels. All right, I guess I got to do more Chad face. Giga Chad, massive jaw. You got to do the Jay Leno jaw. You kind of move the camera around. I guess that will work. Maybe I'll make one today. So follow me on Instagram. I will make one today. I guarantee it. All right, if we go to coin market cap, let's see what's going on with the crypto markets. Bitcoin dominance still, I think, about the same as yesterday, 38.2. ETH up slightly, a little bit closer to 20% now at 19.7. Gas has doubled from yesterday, so I guess people are starting to make some trades here. The market cap, we were right there at $1 trillion. Now we are below $1 trillion, 937 billion. If we look at the price of Bitcoin, below 18,000, a whole lot of eights. If you're in Asia, you're loving it. 18,887, down a massive, almost 5% on the 24-hour. Ethereum down 7%.
Refresh that real quick.
Oh, wait, is it
You're
worse or
close.
better?
It's a little better. Not much.
Okay, not much better, a little bit better. Yeah, we're still below 19. Now we're at 18,906. Ethereum 15.4, down 7% still. BNB down quite a bit. We have Cardano down, just passing a 6% there. Doge, Solana, Polkadot, Matic, a lot of these coins down, 5 to 7% here. ETH Classic down 13%. Hopefully those speculators took some profit, didn't get wrecked. We recommended, just be very careful if you're getting into ETH Classic. It's more of a speculator's token. I would say less so than an organic community of people who love the coin. It's a bunch of people with mining hardware. Uniswap down quite a bit, 7%, trading below $6. I might have to look at that one. And HBAR, I've heard, is quite down quite a bit. Helium popping, I guess, off of the news that maybe they're going to switch to Solana, up 33%. So if you're mining that helium, hey, look at that. You got a little bit of exit liquidity there. Not much else in the positive here. If we check out the negative, ETH Classic leading the way, OKB, Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Cash, ApeCoin down over 8% there. That's surprising. Down 10% on the week. Market cap 1.3 billion, $4.32. I know a lot of people like Ape. Steppen also down quite a bit, but still holding out in the top 100 coins. So got to give it a little respect for that. Polygon, Sandbox, Raven Coin. So we're just seeing dumps across the board. Any thoughts? I mean, you think this is just kind of Bitcoin leading the charge? I mean, we're going to get into that massive selling, but what's up with this just sea of red that we're seeing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty standard for a bear market.
A
You know,
splash
for
in my eye.
those thinking we were coming out of this bear market with a slight little pump up, I mean, I think this kind of goes to show, you know, it is more time based than just pure TA. So I think this has a lot to do with the macro landscape, you could say, of kind of everything that's going on. I'm still holding out midterms coming up. It's probably I still think they're gonna have one more at least rate hike this year, which
Yep.
you know is not gonna help anything. So yeah, I think we're getting very close to the bottom. I know some people think the bottom is in, some people think, you know, we've already hit it, but I think we're really close now. If we haven't already hit it, we're gonna hit it probably in the next couple months.
Yeah, and I think we kind of said, I think they're going to try to do something to get a nice little relief for the economy. I don't know what mechanism or what lever they'll pull, but I think they'll pull the lever as they get close to that election. Someone in the basement chat, DZ after stream buys 1 uni. Closer to the truth than you actually know there. I actually just got a crazy medical bill I'm trying to take care of, so
Uh-oh.
that might be some of my DCA targets moving forward. Yeah, 1 uni. Yeah, I got a $15,000 bill.
Wow.
Saw it in my mail yesterday. It says 10 days from the letter, which is on the 11th. So I got 4 days to try to figure out. Here's a little backstory. We switched insurance July 1st. I got injured in June, and I think I got lost in the cracks of the system.
So hopefully you just kick that to the new insurance company and they'll cover it.
We'll see, man. That's gonna be yeah. So yeah, you're right. I will be buying 1 uni if I don't get that handled.
1 is better than 0, you know.
You're
still
right.
buying. You're still buying.
All right, well, let's look at Trading View. I know we got the calf man himself. You know, he also hey, he doesn't eat veal. He is Italian, but he stays away from the veal. Don't worry, all my PETA people. He's coming in now. He's gonna walk in like this.
What is going on, everybody? Hang on, let me just
Yeah, there you go. Juice them up. Yeah.
bring them back down to a normal height. Hope you guys are having a good day. We have a whole lot to look at on the charts. As we have seen a little bit of a dump yesterday. Actually want to touch on what we were talking about on the stream yesterday, talking about that 4-hour VWAP and the lower time frames with the money flow coming into the red, typically indicating a pretty decent move to the downside. And we got it. So I did mark that out. I just want to show you guys how that played out. And then we're going to take a look at Glassnode for a bit. And I kind of just want to talk about, you know, people constantly asking, you know, what caused the dump? Like, why are we dumping? Why do we keep coming down? Why are we not bouncing? All this. And I want to talk about a few reasons why. So let's go ahead here and hop on to TradingView. And I want to start off, let's start off on the daily chart, right? So why are we dumping? Now, there's obviously a mix of, you know, there's a whole lot of reasons why we could be dumping or why we are dumping. And, you know, just in general, just some general things, right? You have the DXY absolutely ripping. I'll actually just pull that chart up right here. That's on bonds, bada boom. So you can see the DXY. Here it is in all of its glory. You know, we were watching this for a while when we were down here, hoping we would not get back on this channel and catch support to move higher up to the closer to the top of this channel. We broke resistance right about here. As you can see, we got rejected here. I don't want to use any shortcuts here because I usually wind up minimizing the whole window. But we cracked this support. Actually, this is probably a little lower. Just roughing it out here. But we cracked this support, this resistance, flipped it to support, and now we continue higher, potentially moving back up to the top of this channel. But you have the DXY, you know, absolutely ripping. You have bond yields are up, and we're just in with the macro being so uncertain right now. You know, we're basically, people are not flocking to risk on assets, right? They're looking to put their money in cash, in bonds, in safe investments. Nobody is rushing into crypto right now. And you could also, you know, bring up the fact we're in September, right? For this actual dip that we had yesterday, Rectember, right? we're in a bear market, so it makes sense. There's a lot of things. I'm going to show you guys some Glassnode stuff here in just a second, but first, I do just want to bring up yesterday, right? We were talking yesterday, looking at the 4-hour red dot with the 15-minute money flow coming into the red, right? So I come down to the lower time frames here, and I see this money flow crossing into the red, and I go up to that 4-hour time frame, and I see that red dot printing. And we talked about this yesterday. I said, if we get that red dot to confirm and we have the money flow come into the red, this is where we can start to see a decent move to the downside. This is a strategy that Ben was actually talking about a long time ago, and ever since we've been kind of talking about it and looking at it. And you can see here the money flow crossed into the red, marked by this horizontal line. And, about 45 minutes after that, we get this big dump down. And when you come over the 4-hour chart, that vertical line does line up beautifully with our red dot on the 4-hour, which you can't actually see because it's covered. But this is a very high win rate strategy when you see this. So I just wanted to point that out, right? Like we point these things out. So if you're looking for a way to potentially catch the next dump, right, or the next big move down, there's other things that were alerting to a move down. But when you see this strategy line up and you have other bearish evidence on your side, it could make for a really, really confident trade. And if we turn on Market Cipher A, you can see that we actually did print a blood diamond to confirm it, right? So we printed the red dot on the 4-hour and got the blood diamond, which would indicate a big move down as well. But also just wanted to point out on the 4-hour here, now just kind of, talking about maybe the bullish case here, right? Well, not the long-term bullish case, but maybe the short-term bullish case. We are starting to print a bullish divergence here on the 4-hour, right? So, and just guys, talking about these levels that we've been talking about for a week, I'm really happy I've been bringing this up on the stream because you guys know that once we lost this point of control and started bearishly retesting, we were ranging in here for a while. And I was saying, if we lose this spider line because we're below the point of control and the bear showing that the bears are in control, if we lost this spider line, I knew we would come down to this value area low. And we did stick it for a little bit, but eventually wound up losing it. So where are we looking to the downside, right? Where is that next stop to the downside? Well, we have a non-logarithmic spider line right down here coming in at about 18,389. Obviously, it trends up over time, but this would be the next technical level of support. And if we lose that, this is the last line of defense, in my opinion. If we don't get a double bounce off of this 786 Fibonacci level right here, coming in at about 17.7, getting really close to those previous lows that we put in right here. If we don't start getting a big double bottom bounce off of this 786 fib level, this is my last hope. If we lose this fib level, I am going to start looking down towards that next big area of technical support that we have between $14,000 and $12,000. However, you do want to understand that we have that bullish divergence on the 4-hour, and the fact that we are outside of the value area of the volume profile. If we can get that 4-hour bullish divergence to play out, which, to be honest, I don't have too much hope in, just because of all the yellow X's that are popping up on the higher time frames, such as the 12-hour, the 16-hour, the weekly, and I think some higher daily time frames are starting to show some yellow X's as well. I don't have too high hopes for it. However, if we did get that bullish divergence to play out, we could get sucked back into the value area. And once we get back up into the value area and flip that value area low to support, I would be expecting a potential move back up towards this point of control, getting closer to about 20,500. Now, I do just want to bring this up. This is pretty quick. I just wanted to point out, now, this is the transfer volume from whale entities to exchanges, and this is all exchanges. So if you come down here, the total amount of coins transferred from whales to exchange wallets, only direct transfers are counted. Whales are defined as, people who are holding over $1,000, over 1,000 Bitcoin.
I'm a whale.
No way. I get $1,000. But yeah, I just wanted to show this. Yesterday, we actually did have about 20,000 Bitcoin deposited onto exchange. And anytime you see that, right, you see this orange line spike up and you see the deposits into exchanges, right? When you have Bitcoin getting onto exchanges, typically it does mean that people are looking to dump it. And you see, the last time right here, we came up about 21,000 Bitcoin was deposited, and we see the price come down, right? So kind of the same thing, right? We had 20,700 and 59 Bitcoin deposited onto exchanges as we saw price coming down. So it's hard to point to an exact reason why things are coming down. You know, I think it's a mixture of a lot of things. Like I said, the DXY is absolutely ripping. Bond yields are up. You know, the macro is so uncertain right now. Like I said, people are not flocking to risk on assets, right? People are looking for the safe haven assets, you know, cash, bonds, things that are safe, right? Nobody, I always say this, like, try to get, you know, your uncle to invest in Bitcoin right now. They would look at you like you're crazy.
Absolutely. Real quick, before
yeah.
you can jump off, can you pull the new pull up right there while you're in GlossNet? I think that'll be interesting to look at. I imagine we got to be right at the bottom. You know, I think it's, I don't know, it's brown, the bottom color. We always joke about deep in the brown, but yeah, see, we're plunging right there on the right-hand side back into that pink. Is it? It's hard for me to see.
Yeah, the colors are kind of hard to see on this monitor too, but yeah, it is getting into the pink.
Yeah, so I mean that shows that's always a good thing to keep an eye on. Go to, is that, I don't know what the time frame on that is. It doesn't look like the lifetime, but that's always something. If you could zoom out, yeah, that's just a day.
Oh yeah, it's just the, oh, we can't. That's interesting.
No, look at the top right. There's a date range up there, and for some reason it'll default to a really strange range. But or you can just drag it out on the bottom. You can just, yeah. Either way, it's always good to keep an eye on when you can see when things are very deep into the profit. You know, obviously when euphoria and the green and the blue that blow off top, that's always what we're keeping an eye. There it is, or at least that's better than. Boom. There we go.
There we go. Okay, that looks...
So you can see every time it kind of the profit goes too high above the actual price, you know, that's generally when we see it start to reset and go back down into another bear market. And then when the losses get deep into that pink, obviously that's when smart money whales are accumulating, and it sets us up for another run up there. So it doesn't look like we're at the lowest. It looks like we had more people in loss in the previous dump. So it's just always good to keep an eye on. You know, that's a good accumulation range. I know there's some other top and bottom indicators people have been looking at as well. So maybe we'll pull more of those in tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. I'll try to get some more Glassnode stuff ready for tomorrow as well. But you know, speaking of that stuff, guys, this is kind of the thing, right? Everybody's just kind of, it's a bear market. It's very boring. There's some actual other charts. Maybe I'll bring them up tomorrow. You know, that look at just exchange volume, and you can see, right, that in every bear market, right? Obviously, in the bear market, the volume gets completely flat. In the bull markets, it's absolutely ridiculous. And it's kind of the you know, people hate bear markets, but in the bull market, everyone was calling like, oh, I can't wait for Bitcoin to go down. And in my own personal opinion, it's not financial advice, but, you know, right now, even if we were to get another leg down, I mean, you know, we're below that 200-week moving average, and that has not happened. We have been below that 200-week moving average longer than we ever have before. And it's historically, when you're at that 200-week moving average, it has historically been the best time to buy Bitcoin. Now, obviously, you know, if we see something completely different happen in this cycle, potentially, you know, if Bitcoin rips down to, you know, these crazy apocalyptic numbers that people are expecting, if we get a depression or a crazy recession, obviously, you know, things could get pretty ugly. But right now, you know, I have a video on my channel that's best time to buy Bitcoin, and right now that is happening. I'm not going to go into the strategy.
Absolutely.
It's pretty easy, but you know, this has historically been the best time to buy Bitcoin. So just keep that in mind.
Well,
DCA.
I think this guy in the chat just said it, you know, follow the smart money. These whales bought in 2018, 2019, sold in 2021. They're rebuying in 2022. I mean, that's pretty, you know, follow the cycles, buy when you know things are euphoric, sell when everybody's terrified.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I was thinking when thinking about a bottom. Like, I was just sitting here thinking to myself, yeah, about the time I start believing, you know, thinking like, well, maybe crypto savvy's right, or maybe the Amazon bubble theory is real. Maybe we are going to see a 10-year bear market. Like, when I start having those thoughts rolling around the back of my head, that's a pretty good time for me to think like, we're probably close to the bottom. If I think it's going to be like this for 10 years, yeah, that might mean we're pretty close to the bottom. So just check your gut and kind of always be willing to go opposite of your emotions when it comes to trading.
Absolutely. If you're scared, it might be a good time to buy Bitcoin.
That's right.
But that's all I got. Back to DZ.
Alrighty.
Bing bong.
Couple things. Thanks for all the tips with the medical bills. Also, they're saying sweatshirts in the summer in Georgia. Where are you guys? You know, so look, it's cold in the office. That's all I'm gonna say. A little chilly here. Why is DZ looking like that with the camera? I was reading the chat and my left contact needs to be replaced. So I got to get a new prescription, or maybe I'll just get lasers. See, I've got needles in my eyes, so now I'm like a little scared of getting lasers on my eyes. But at this point, might as well. It's like It's like easier.
I was gonna say, you've done needles, might
Yep.
as well just upgrade to lasers.
Yeah, I've already walked on the coals.
I mean,
you
isn't
know?
laser eyes the thing anyway? You know.
Yeah. Too soon. Don't remind me. Don't remind me. All right. I think I did laser eyes for like all of 4 days
Yeah.
or
Hey,
something.
guys, I think that was the top.
You know, looking back, who would have thunk it? All right, moving on here, moving on. But you know, I do want to share this Glassnode real quick before we break into the stories, because you raised a good point that it could go lower. You see it here. It kind of it's kind of hard to see, but like real quick, right before that dump, yeah, you know, it was kind of went up, and then had another leg down. You can see it here, and then boom, it had another leg down. But very quickly it starts bouncing after that. So you're not going to feel too bad if you get in at you know, not quite the perfect timing. You're never going to catch the exact bottom, but this Glassnode chart is it's looking juicy. Now, say you bought here, it was very boring. You didn't make a whole lot of money for a long time, but you know what? When you're counting those X's, you know, that 6X is a little bit better than a 4.5X.
Yeah.
But you know what? 4.5X is still pretty good.
And that could be what we're looking at in 2023 next year. You know, like we could bottom towards the end of this year and still have a very boring next year that doesn't feel super bullish, even if it is.
Yeah. It won't, and it's going to be so slow and steady on the way up. You know, you'll look back and you'll make a 60% gain. ETH is way down right now, but it's still up 70% from those lows when it hit about 850. I don't know. I have to check the math, but you're up 70% if you bought that ETH low a few months back. Does it feel like a 70% pump? Heck no. It feels like, oh my God, the sky's falling. I'm sure I'm down. No, if you bought that bottom, you're up 70%, give or take. So yeah, it might not feel all that bullish, but to TJ's point, when you start feeling like, oh no, you know, maybe 10-year bear market is here, that's when you should start buying. All right, let's talk about this Bitcoin market cap dominance. Fallen to levels not seen since January 2018. What do you think of that? It's a long time ago.
It is. It's crazy. I mean, that's when you pointed it out, just that coin market cap today. Like it's that's probably the most surprising thing to me of all this. Like the price dumping, not very surprising. You know, stuff about ETH merge, you know, price going up, not too surprising. But the fact that Bitcoin dominance hasn't been stronger this bear market has probably been the number one shock to me, because all bear markets in the past, we saw that time and time again. And now that could allude to the narrative that, you know, more big money is involved now than was before, and they're positioning in different ways. But, you know, this time it's different, so to speak. But yeah, I would have expected us to be much closer to 50%. You know.
Yeah, because bear market is supposed to be Bitcoin pumps relative to everything. And we're just not really seeing that. DZ, how's the hand? Is getting better. I'm not doing physical therapy, but, you know, I was out here squeezing the turtle. The Ninja Turtle while Frank was talking. So I stay, you know, trying to help it out. And dang, you have a MTG TikToker giving financial advice. One, not financial advice, just kind of, you know, assessing the market, sharing my opinion, sharing TJ's opinion, sharing Frank's opinion. And what's wrong? You can't grow as a human being. I made TikToks years ago. I can't do anything else. I must do that for the rest of my life? You know what? I worked at Chuck E. Cheese.
Well, I would say,
am I supposed to dress as a rat
MTG
for the rest of my life?
TikToker and still smarter than you. You know, like what's wrong? I don't understand. MTG people are some of the smartest people out there.
Yeah, and I was actually not terrible at the game.
Yeah.
So I would. There's like quants playing Magic the Gathering.
You're good at Magic the Gathering, and you like NFTs. Now that puts you in a really
yeah. If anything, maybe I have more knowledge than some of these influencers out there. All right, with Bitcoin trading below 19K and Bitcoin dominance down to levels last seen over 4 years ago, Peter Schiff decided to say something. He's saying it's better to abandon ship before the bottom drops out. I love how he's trying to say, we're trading below 20K. Now you should abandon the ship. Come on, Peter. I don't mind if
he
you
was
say
saying
it
the
in
same
60s.
thing. He was saying that at 3K too. So.
Oh man. All right. Squeezing the turtle. People are having fun.
Yeah.
All right. Look. This is what I was talking about, okay? Squeezing you sickos.
That's
you
what I said. That's what they're calling it these days.
I didn't even think about that. You guys took it there. All right, Bitcoin permabear Peter Schiff, who is one of Bitcoin's harshest critics, is CEO of Europe Pacific Capital, a full-service registered broker-dealer specializing in not crypto. He specializes in foreign markets and securities. He's also founder and chairman of Schiff Gold, a full-service discount precious metals dealer. Oh, Peter, Pumpkin Eater. As CNBC reported yesterday, the Institute for Supply Management's non-manufacturing figure for August came in better than expected, rising month over month, which could be a sign that the Fed will have more room to hike rates without the U.S. economy falling in recession. So they're seeing little bits of good news, and they're saying, you know what, we can go ahead and jack them interest rates. Thoughts on staked ETH?
I grabbed that for the Q&A.
All right, yeah, we'll get to that at the end.
Let's hit some Twitter buzz real quick. And
Oh
then,
yeah, we skipping the Twitter buzz. I know I heard you like saying,
that's all right.
Something was off.
All right, here we go.
Twitter buzz.
All right.
Twitter buzz.
How will the EU enforce its mandatory home temperature control policies? Will they send brown shirts into homes again, similar to COVID mania? They're already using the flatten the curve language again. I'm actually glad that they brought that up. I can't recall. Maybe someone in the chat can tell me. There is a country in the EU that leans a little more socialist, and they had a social program where they gave you the thermostats, and then they were turning the people's thermostats off via, their centralized authority there. So, yeah, it's not looking good. We keep warning about the Europe energy issue that's going to happen this winter. We don't want it to happen, but, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, it's getting dicey out there. I just like the fun memes. I saw somebody who's like, guy in Germany having to use a gas-powered generator to power, to fuel up his $120,000 supercar or whatever. It's just, irony right there.
Using gas, powered, generator to charge your Tesla because California that you can't charge your Teslas. All right, it takes a special kind of fiat hatred to hold from 69K down to these levels. Doubling down, Bitcoin or we eat bugs. That's not that far from the truth. Bitcoin or crickets. That's your choice. I'm going to start telling people that. That's what I'm going to say at that Thanksgiving dinner. It's Bitcoin or bugs. What do you want? I know a side I stand on, and then I'll stand up with a flourish and probably pull the tablecloth off because it was tucked into my clothing. But I like that comparison. Bitcoin or bugs.
Yeah,
WEF or not.
Yeah, it's a strong statement, and it is it's a good reminder of the fight that we're truly fighting, and it's it shows the true struggle, right? Because a lot of people obviously do want fiat, at least temporarily. We trade it, we sell at the top and buy back in at the bottom to try to accumulate more Bitcoin. But
vilified for that, by the way.
Right. But we do need people to, hold all the way through and fight the good fight. And there's definitely a group of Bitcoiners that are fighting for something more than just financial freedom. They're fighting for financial freedom for the world. So hopefully it works out.
Cricket milk with vitamin D. All right, it takes us. Most projects are down over 80%. Most people don't see it as an opportunity. They're not willing to wait to reap the rewards. A lot of people don't mind working 10 years in a job they hate, but can't wait 2 years for an investment to grow. They'll be buying at all-time highs. Don't be that person. Great advice. Yeah, there will be people buying at all-time highs. This is the time to get in. This is the time to be interested. You should be interested more now than you were in April of last year. Is that the case? No, not for 99% of people. Probably not even for me. Why? Because you feel that euphoria. You got your dopamine spiking every day because you're looking at CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap and you're like, hey, I'm up. What did I do? Nothing. Those days are over, but those days will be back. And you're going to wish you got in. Man, why didn't I get Matic, before the 100X? Man, why didn't I get Solana before the 100X? Because you weren't interested when it was boring. Stay interested while it's boring. Great advice there.
That's right.
All right. Let's get into 47% of Bitcoin holders remain in profit despite a 60% drop in 2022. In this line, as of September 7th, 47% of Bitcoin holders remain in profit at the current price, while the majority, 52%, are in a loss, and 1%, hey, they bought it at these levels. The number of holders in profit can be considered significant considering Bitcoin has corrected by about 60% this year. At the same time, Bitcoin is trading almost 70% from its all-time high value of almost 69,000 in late 21. Quite a volatile November. It is worth noting that Bitcoin has also emerged as a better investment compared to traditional investment assets like stocks. As per a Finbold report on September 6th, Bitcoin recorded an average of 550% in return on investment compared to stocks of 5 major banks. This is over 5 years. This isn't from the Genesis block. This is from the last 5 years.
And that's the perfect example that goes with that last tweet you just read, because
Yeah.
I don't understand it either, why so many people get in for a year or two and then get out like, oh, I'm not coming back to that. I'm like, well, why? You have a 401k that you invest in for 20 years, 30 years. Like, you work a job that you hate to make money for, like that tweet said, 10 plus years. And now 5 years, 500% returns. Like, that's insane on any market anywhere, but most people don't give it that 5 years. And I really can't wrap my head around that.
Yeah, and you got it down, 70%, but you got Peter Schiff saying, you're an idiot if you buy this.
Yeah.
Well, I have a different opinion.
Exactly.
All right, following the latest price movement, the number of wallets and losses will likely extend further in the coming days. Notably, the crypto market has anticipated further possible correction after we had breached the 20K level, and we certainly saw it with that whale dumping, what was that number? 200,000 Bitcoin? It was, I remember I did the math in my head. It was like $380 million worth. So it was a lot, 20,000, I believe. So a lot of Bitcoin. Yeah. So some whale, they saw the same thing. You know what? We're hanging out under this 20K level a little too long. I'm going to go ahead and drop this on an exchange. Maybe they're not selling it, but when you drop that much Bitcoin on an exchange, typically it's for one reason. All right.
Yeah.
You don't want to say, I don't like it in my private wallet. Let me just go ahead and give it to someone else.
You know what? I've been really trusting these exchanges lately. Let me get it off my ledger and just put
Yeah,
it
yeah.
on.
2022. That's the year of the exchanges being solvent. Yeah, it'll be fine. I might lose my seed phrase.
Yeah.
All right. Bitcoin long-term holder supply jumps up by 250,000 Bitcoin after the recent low. According to the latest weekly report from Glassnode, and it is only 30,000 away from the all-time high. When the short-term holder supply matures enough and reaches the threshold, these coins are then naturally included in the long-term hodler supply. If you hold long enough, yeah, obviously you're going to become a long-term hodler. Interesting. So you saw them start to dump on the lead up to the price action. They're dumping at these prices. They're laughing at everybody like, aha, you're buying the top, idiot. But you know what they did after that first that flash crash? I remember this day. Everybody was just ears were ringing and just didn't know what was going on. They started accumulating. June, July, fear was super high. No one wanted to be in Bitcoin. It was over. Everyone's bragging. If they told you sell in May, walk away. Ha, you should have walked away. But what were these long-term holders doing? They're buying more and more. What did the price do? It hit an all-time new high there. But what did they not do? They didn't start dumping again. And I find that interesting that with this price correction, they weren't exiting in droves. You see a little bit of an exit here. You see a little bit of an exit there, a little exit there, but nothing like this. TJ, what does that tell you in the long term? I mean, are they volatility ending? You don't want to try to chase these 30, 40, 50% pumps because it's no longer a 300% pump. What?
Yeah, I mean, the couple things I see when I look at that. I mean, I would think a lot of people would be in the similar boat as us, waiting. Like, we never got that blow off top, and I think they might have been waiting for another blow off top to sell again. And that leads to the theory of diminished returns, right? Yep. We're seeing diminished returns this time around, and with a lot of big institutional money looking to accumulate, I would be willing to guess, if we pull that chart back up real quick. A lot, there's more going on there than we can just see on that chart. I'd have to look into Glassnode's metrics to see how much over the counter. I know they track a lot of over the counter stuff, but I would be willing to guess a lot of those long-term holders might have sold over the counter to big institutional players.
That's a good point. And there's another thing that we might not be seeing, similar to a 24-hour chart where the price doesn't change, but there was something wild that happened 24 hours ago. You'll see a massive spike in the percentage gain. This right here, this long-term hodler pump, this just could have been them buying whatever the metric is. Say it was 2 years ago, buying a bunch 2 years ago, which would kind of fit. That would be May of 19. So there's a good chance that all these people bought 2 years ago, and then they just kind of switched over on the metric. But if that's the case, that means in the era of the cycle, they're kind of buying now. They're buying from now to like the next year.
And that's the kind of stuff we're gonna dig into that a little bit more. We used to look at Glassnode a lot, and I've been curious to look into it more lately. So I'm gonna dig into it tomorrow, and we'll have some good stuff for tomorrow's stream. But this is good. I like this kind of stuff.
Yeah. All right. Bitcoin accumulation trend. This is more Glassnode stuff. Then we'll move on to some other coins here. Bitcoin accumulation trend score shows market has been selling recently. Here is the accumulation trend score. Tells us about whether they're accumulating or not right now. They kind of assign certain values to it. You can see the pump here, accumulation, max accumulation, November highs, then really getting low, but then it seems like, no, this is following the price, but you can see the color. Accumulation is this dark bluish. Distribution, selling is this red. So they're selling on the way up. And then a short term, this is the paper handlers. This is retail. They're buying it up. You know what? People are buying it up right here. And then people are selling like all-time lows. You just want to be one of the smart people. I think the smart people, they're buying right now. They're not selling right now. Maybe they're taking a little profit if they got in at 3K, but if you bought in at 60, don't sell now. That would just be asinine. You don't want to do that. Now is the time to stay interested, stay involved.
Well,
stay
and,
in the
and I
ecosystem.
think that's really the silver lining to all this stuff. I mean, the numbers show it. Like the people that are buying when the price is down, the people that are accumulating in massive fear and massive bear market are the ones that take the most profit in the bull markets as well. So somebody was asking, what is that silver lining? Silver lining is you have most likely have time to buy at these prices. Like it's not going to feel great to have a lot of time at these prices unless you don't have a lot of Bitcoin, a lot of Ethereum, or a lot of whatever your favorite alt is. But realistically, like for me, if accumulation is the name of the game and ultimately I want to slowly over the next 10 years just increase my Bitcoin stack, increase my Ethereum stack, I'm welcoming opportunities like this.
The state controlled. I saw a couple of people talking about that. It wasn't an entire country, and it wasn't like every citizen there. It was people who signed up for a social program. That's all. I'm not trying to make it sound like an entire country did this. Paper is so vintage. We've got some MTG fans out there. Maybe. I don't know what that was. All right. Here are the 10 U.S. states most interested in Bitcoin and Ethereum. I just want to, kind of jump into them real quick. Number one, not surprising, California, home of tech. What is surprising, Illinois. I guess that's just a lot of people in Chicago maybe are really into it. New York, Florida, Washington, Pennsylvania. Surprise. Well, I guess Texas has a lot of citizens there. Virginia. Hey, we got Georgia on the list and Arizona. Shout out to Johnny. So we see these are the main states. Anything surprising to you here? Not surprising?
Virginia's a little surprising. I wonder if that includes DC or like that area.
Well, a lot of people who work in DC live in Virginia.
Right. So that's what I'm thinking is skewing that number up. I wouldn't have put that on there originally, but other than that, no, that's
I'm surprised you don't see Michigan because you would think distrust in your government would be high there. So maybe I would expect to see in Michigan. Washington, that's a little surprising. They're such pro ESG, kind of just generally speaking. So I'm surprised so many of them are interested in Bitcoin. But you can see the ratio of Ethereum to Bitcoin, kind of high in some of these states, especially compared to Illinois. Illinois, it's just Bitcoin or bust. Ethereum, what? I don't even care about that.
Yeah,
You go to Florida, it's like 50-50 here.
yeah, that's the CME, I bet, in Chicago that pushes a lot of the very heavy
I
trading.
forgot about the
futures and all that kind of stuff. That's what people are going to be interested in.
good old mercantile exchange. All right, talking stocks here. Markets falling. Stocks fall on Fed rate hike bets. Yen hits fresh 24-year low. Woo, man. We talk about the down order effects of a shrinking population, and people like to dismiss it. Japan was first to have a shrinking population, and now their yen is at a 24-year low. Maybe it's not related whatsoever. Maybe it's not. I'm not an economist. I haven't really done a deep dive on Japan's economy, but sure is coincidental to me. All right, moving on here. European stock markets fell on Wednesday after U.S. Data prompted traders to ramp up the Federal Reserve rate hike bets, pushing the dollar to a 24-year high against the Japanese yen. So essentially, the market is betting that the Fed Reserve is going to rate a little bit higher than they were expecting, say, just a week ago. We saw some, pretty bad action in Asia. Government bond yields across the board are rising, and that's putting pressure on the stock markets. When you have money to make off a bond yield, the stock market not quite as attractive. You think the stock market might go low and that government bond is going up. You know what? Maybe I'll put a little bit of my money in government bonds, which then puts more sell pressure on the stock market. So we've got a little bit of a negative feedback loop there. U.S. dollar index was up 0.3% on the day at 110, having hit a 20-year high of 110.69, and this was 110.67 earlier in the session. Yeah, we're looking at that earlier, that DXY, and that's not even looking at some of the world's strongest economies either. The EU proposed a price cap on Russian gas on Wednesday, hours after Putin threatened to halt all supplies if they took such a step. Now, the price cap on Russian gas, it's going to get paid for some way. If it doesn't get paid by the consumer, it'll get paid by, I hate to say this, European countries printing more money, because the money has to come from somewhere. And I've said this about war, and this is essentially a Cold War style tactic. When you have to pay for a war, you have two options: print more money, tax your citizenry. They always just print more money, and that might be just another case of them printing more money. What does that mean for Bitcoin? Probably good. What does that mean for DXY? I don't know. So we're gonna have a positive and a negative for Bitcoin's price here. We'll have to see what happens, but just kind of giving the information out there. Do your own research. NFA. All right, Europe power firms need 1.5 trillion euros in margin calls. A trillion with the T. They need at least 1.5 trillion to cover the costs of their exposure to soaring gas prices. Norwegian Energy Group has estimated, and that does not include firms in Britain there. Utilities often sell power in advance to secure a certain price, but must maintain a minimum margin deposit in case of default before they supply the power. Some of us degen leverage traders know exactly what they mean by this. Gas prices, which have soared to 5 times their level a year ago in the wake of the Russian-Ukraine escalation, jumped further on Monday after Moscow shut the major Nord Stream 1 gas pipeline indefinitely. EU ministers will discuss in a meeting on Friday, in just 2 days, a number of options, including a price cap on imported gas, price cap on gas used to produce electricity, or temporarily removing gas power plants from the current EU system of setting electricity prices. So a lot of government control there. It's not going to be a good situation. Our hearts are out there for those people. Let's just hope it's maybe not a drastic winter. Let's just hope there's not crazy cold fronts. If so, it's going to be very bad.
I tend to be a little less optimistic. I mean, it's not sounding good. This to me feels very contrived, very controllable, very created, very much like what I feel like a lot of the other stuff that happened a couple of years ago was. I think they know we're going to run out of power. They're not going to print the money to save it. They want to scare everybody and make them more reliant on the government. And I think we're going to see in Western societies, whether it's Europe, Canada, here, slowly more move, a stronger and stronger push to dependence on the government. Obviously, it's already pretty strong in Europe. And this is just another way they're going to use that. And then they're going to come back and print more money to bail themselves out. But they're going to let us feel that pain first, I feel like. And, another rate hike, they just did it in Canada, another 0.75, and a lot of times that's a good precursor to what they're going to do here. Another 0.75 here is going to break a lot more markets. It's going to hurt a lot more assets, and all this pain, there's going to be more pain before we get relief. So, and then once everybody's 100% relying on them, then they turn that printer on and say, see, look, we saved you all. And, we do it all.
Yeah. What happens when the government has extra control? It's not very quickly that they'll give it back. And I was listening to All In podcast this week in startups, Jason Calacanis, and they said they had rollouts in San Francisco yesterday. I guess too many people turned on their air conditioning.
Yeah. Well, and apparently, according to the chat, that thing you were just talking about with those thermostats, they said 20,000 people supposedly lost control of their thermostats in Colorado.
Okay, 20,000 people, 20,000 homes.
Yeah, in Colorado.
Maybe people.
So that's even closer to home. So
yeah, wow. Yeah, I saw someone saying, "Oh, just a lot of bullcrap, misinformation." No, these things are happening out there. It may not be seen by whatever media sources you're reading or paying attention to, but there's a lot of scary things happening out there, a lot of negative headlines. And as we get close, I'm not trying to be conspiratorial here, but as we get close to an election, if you're in power, and this is generally speaking, I'm not pointing at any party in particular here. When you're in power, you're not going to want a bunch of negative FUD around the party in power. As you get real close to an election, you're going to want to paint a rosy picture. And I think it's fair to say that each party has kind of their own media wing that supports their narrative, both parties. And so I think the party in power is using their wing to push a certain kind of picture, just like the party in opposition is using their wing to paint a contrasting picture.
Absolutely.
It's just the name of the game, and the truth somewhere in the middle. All right, IMF. Let's talk about speaking of the powers that be, IMF, International Monetary Fund. Crypto assets become more mainstream as hedges against weak currencies and potential payment instruments here. Published a report titled Regulating crypto, the right rules could provide a safe space for innovation, terrible title, and the September edition of its flagship Finance and Development magazine, also a terrible title. The report is authorized by IMF's Monetary and Capital Markets Department, another terrible title. Deputy Director Aditya Narain and Assistant Director Marina Moretti. Assistant Director Marina Moretti. That sounds like a sitcom character. Marina Moretti.
Yeah, it does.
Too much alliteration there. The failure of crypto issuers, exchanges, and hedge funds, as well as a recent slide in crypto valuations, have added impetus to the push to regulate, authors noted. For a start, the crypto world is evolving rapidly. Regulators are struggling to acquire the talent and learn the skills to keep pace, given stretched resources and many other priorities. Monitoring crypto markets is difficult because data are patchy, maybe the opposite of that, and regulators find it tricky to keep tabs on thousands of actors who may not be subject to typical disclosure or reporting requirements. This is why the IMF is calling for a global response that is coordinated, consistent, and comprehensive. They concluded, elaborating more crap, essentially. How many times have we seen this story? Crypto is hard to monitor. No, it's easier to monitor.
Yeah.
And I'm so sick of that lie. It's IMF, though. I mean, do you think the IMF is going to publish an honest report on crypto?
Absolutely not. IMF,
not.
there's nothing they do that's honest, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's before I worked at BitBoy Crypto, I thought there's so many things are just ridiculous. All these like conspiratorial things about the IMF and, no, they supply, these banks and these countries and they finance wars. And then, the first eye opener essentially was, what is his name? The guy that does documentaries. He also did the JFK movie. Oliver Stone.
Mm-hmm.
And then that kind of, I was like, okay. Then Naval Ravikant. And then once I just started really looking into it, I fell down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
God's token. Let's put that on the.
Yeah, I got it on the Q&A.
All right, cool. Attacker scoops $370K profit and a $51 million flash loan arbitrage on Avalanche. That doesn't seem that bad, honestly. That's a 0.15% profit. That seems about right for an arbitrage play. Noria's Finance, a DeFi staking platform on Avalanche, was impacted on a flash loan arbitrage attack on Tuesday that saw the exploiter drain $370K in USD stablecoin. Only about 14 ETH and 15,000 DAI are left in this address at the time of publishing. They made off. They made off and ran with that. Flash loan exploits continue to be a major pain point for DeFi protocols. The FBI stated in August that flash loan and price manipulation exploits are among some of the risk factors for DeFi users. I say that's really not that much of a big deal there. 370K on 51 million. 100 million would be 700K. So I guess it's actually 0.7%. So it's close to 1%. But I've done degen trades on Pancake Swap where you gotta have like your slippage in the teens. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot of money. It changed my life 100%. Pay my house off and pay my medical bills maybe, but for 51 million, that seems like a fair arbitrage. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? 370 for 51 million?
Yeah, as I say, that's going to be pretty standard, and that's when you guys hear us talk about DeFi being very new, DeFi being still maturing as a space. We're going to continue to see exploits within DeFi. We're going to continue to see bridges getting hacked. But the important thing is to remember, as these things happen, these are actually growth. It doesn't feel great for the project in the moment, but if a project can recover from it, if it's not a fatal flaw, then it's actually good for DeFi in the future because it helps people move forward, build better bridges, remove these exploits, remove these bugs, and then the product just slowly gets better and better and better. And I think that's what we're going to see. Just like we saw tons of exploits in the 2020 DeFi scene, we're going to continue to see them as DeFi has its resurgence. We're just going to see less this time, and it's going to work better. And then next time around, we'll see less from things like Celsius and Three Arrows and Terra Luna and those kind of crashes. We'll still have exploits. We'll still have crashes, but it's going to be just a little bit safer each time we go around as the systems and the infrastructures mature.
Two things there. On yesterday's ATB, if you haven't watched it, make sure you check it out. Johnny Hopper, Johnny Crypto, he brings up the Lindy effect. And the Lindy effect is when something's been around longer, it gives you a better idea of how long it will still be around. And it's really good for DeFi protocols, especially if there hasn't been a hack and it's been out for a couple years, a year. That's typically going to be a little bit better than the DeFi that's giving you 1,000% APR, and it's only 2 days old. That one, maybe be a little bit careful around. Then I forget the other thing, but yeah, just watch ATB last night. Really, really good stuff. You're gonna want to make sure you check that out. All right, let's talk a little. Speaking of 3AC and some of these big funds, Celsius and whatnot, bankrupt crypto fund 3AC withdraws 45 million from Curve Finance Convex. While it's linked to 3AC, withdrew staked ETH worth 33.3 million here. On-chain data shows a wallet identified by Nansen as belonging to them. Withdrew a total of 45 million from deposits previously staked on Curve Finance Convex Finance. There, Twitter speculators suggested these moves show big wallet holders plan to liquidate their Ether in the period of heightened focus on Ethereum around the merge. 3AC owed 27 crypto companies $3.5 billion at the time of its bankruptcy. My 2 ETH suddenly doesn't seem that important. The labeling of 3AC's wallet by Nansen does not make it a certainty. In a response to skepticism over the firm's labeling in the past, Nansen CEO remarked in June, "We can but rarely make mistakes. No one is perfect." I can testify for Nansen. We actually pay for Nansen's paid service here at Hit Network, thanks to Tim Shed. Shout out to Tim. And I've gotten pretty good data from them. Yeah, they can make mistakes. This is crypto. You never know. So don't take everything as gospel if they say this wallet belongs to XYZ. But typically they get pretty good info. So I'm a fan of Nansen. Not sponsor or anything. I use it. I like it. Oh, I saw someone mention the cut. If you want to pull it up. No, that's my scar. That's my scar for my plate. I got a little metal plate in there. All right, Celsius co-founder declares his equity is worthless in court. What about my 2 ETH? You have my ETH. A Celsius Network co-founder has moved in court to declare the entirety of his equity stake as worthless. Declaration that a particular stock or common share is worthless generally occurs when shareholders in a company think they will not receive any further distribution for their holdings. The latest forecast and filed to the U.S. Bankruptcy Court has the firm sitting on just over 111 million in cash currently, forecasting 42 million in cash left by the end of November. I would like to see the story develop. Where is this missing cash going? Is this for operations? Is this paying off debitors? Is this paying companies? Is this paying individuals? Is this paying whales? Is this paying the small people? Is this paying their light bill? I don't know. So be interesting to see where that money ends up going. It's about 70 million there, 69 million actually. All right, Terminator DZ. Okay, yeah. I can actually move my hand about as much as they move that metal hand. So that's as far as I can go there. Need your boots, your jeans, and your motorcycle, and your Bored Ape. All right, NFT and metaverse trademark applications for 2022 have already eclipsed 21's total. 21 was a bullish year. I would like to see it eclipse it a little bit earlier than August, September, but we'll take it. We'll take it. It's bullish. The number of metaverse-related trademarks filed so far in 2022 has already eclipsed those numbers as companies seek to protect their IP online. U.S. crypto trademark applications here, so we can see it declining. March, obviously, a little bit higher. I'm surprised it wasn't higher in January when we were close to those November highs. So we're seeing a slight decline here, but still higher than last year. And a similar increase in trademark applications can also be seen in NFT patents. And this is really what you should be bullish about. Over 5,800 related trademark applications have been filed. The total for all of last year was just 2,000. So we're way, way up on NFT patents.
Yeah.
And NFT patents are going to be what drives the industry. It's not going to be cooler and cooler monkey JPEGs. Oh, man, this monkey has a leather jacket and, a joint in his ear. Oh, my God, he has a neck tattoo and a teardrop. No, that's not going to be what pushes the industry further. It's going to be people like Gary Vee. We went to VCon, used the NFT as a ticket. It's refreshing on the blockchain. Everything was legit. No screenshots. That was cool. That's what's going to be what pushes this industry forward. It's going to be, membership. What they just have in San Francisco. Is it Burning Man? The big thing.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, I don't know.
Coachella?
Coachella is outside of California.
Maybe it was
it's
Burning
in the
Man.
desert.
But yeah, that ticketing is going to be a big thing. Club memberships is going to be a big thing. Maybe Bored Ape Yacht Club. Maybe I'll have a swamp lot somewhere. Maybe they'll buy a swamp. Give me a little ramp or something. I don't know. Who knows? JPEGs so old. Yeah, that's so like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So like that 5-year-old technology. Oh my god.
Yeah, who wants
All
a
right.
CryptoPunk now?
All right. Reddit NFT avatars selling for a premium on OpenSea. The launch of limited edition NFT avatars has led to a large premium. I'll have to investigate this because when I looked into it, they're trading crap prices here. These were launched on Reddit not that long ago, and they're trading on OpenSea, outperforming the platform's proprietary store. NFTs available for purchase. Okay, I was correct. They range from $5 to $49, while the NFTs that were listed for 50 or more are now sold out. The more extensive avatars are still available on OpenSea, albeit for price ranges significantly higher than their original listings on Reddit. Reddit's initial NFT announcement indicated that the launch of avatars would primarily empower artists to create and sell NFTs through its store and on secondary marketplaces. You see this a lot. We saw this with Vivi. I got that initial drop of Vivi Spider-Man NFTs. That first OG one first came out. I didn't buy common. I bought uncommon. The common, I'm making these numbers up, but this is all kind of relative. The common when it did about like a 2x. The uncommon did about a 3x, while the rare did like a 6x or a 5x.
Wow.
So the rares will typically just kind of do better. Now the middle, that tends to be a wasteland sometimes, especially with PFP projects. You either want floor, or that, not that 7% rarity, not that, rank 187 out of 10,000, that top 10, that top 50, maybe if it's really, really popular. That's where you'll see liquidity in that top, and that bottom. Tom Crown got himself a Reddit NFT. So shout out to Tom Crown. Make sure you follow his channel. If you see him in the chat, give him a follow.
Yeah.
One of the coolest traders with shades out there.
Friend of the BitSquad for sure.
Yeah. He's in the BitSquad. He's like at least a lieutenant or something, right?
Sure.
Yeah. He's like a 1-star, not 5. All right, we're kidding, Tom. We're kidding. If you're like 2 inches taller, I'm joking. I'm joking. All right. So Rare takes on NBA Top Shot with Ethereum NFT-based fantasy NBA game. Tom, we love you, Tom. The NBA continues its push into Web3 with a fantasy sports game, maker of NFT-based soccer and MLB games. I'll say this about the NBA. NBA is forward-thinking. We saw it with the Top Shot, and we see it with them leaning into gambling.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts of them just saying, you know what? We're leaning into it.
I think they know there's opportunity there. I feel like once, now that we have peer-to-peer technology like a blockchain where people can do these things between themselves and settle it without a third-party intermediary, I think it's going to be harder and harder to regulate it away from people because clearly the market wants it. It always exists on the market.
Yep.
So I think it's an inevitability, especially as they NBA leans a lot more international than a lot of our other sports franchises here in the U.S., like
big in
baseball
China.
and football. Obviously, soccer, the #1 international sport. But I think the more things we start seeing sporting on an international scale, whether it's basketball, whether it's soccer, whether it's esports, now that we have peer-to-peer betting platforms, it will happen over the next 10 years. So they're smart to lean into it, in my opinion.
Is it Tom Crown, the Litecoin general?
Yeah, exactly.
I think he is, right?
It's called
All
the
right.
Light General. Yeah.
He's talking about his skin tone. Okay, he doesn't get out in the sun that much.
Oh.
I'm joking. He has a healthy glow.
Yeah.
All right. Their Ethereum-based fantasy soccer platform helps spearhead the rise of both NFT gaming and digital sports collectibles, and the firm recently expanded into baseball with an official MLB game, and now they plan to enter NBA Top Shot's turf with the upcoming launch of an official NBA fantasy basketball game, and they plan to launch this in time for the upcoming season, which begins very soon, October 18th, and the original soccer platform set the stage for official pro soccer NFTs, and while the baseball project had previous MLB, they had digital cards with tops and an ill-fated game before the NFT market boom. The league hasn't yielded a giant like NBA Top Shot. No, they just haven't. That NBA Top Shot is actually a lot of OG people in the Bored Ape community came from NBA Top Shots. A lot of people just, I don't want to say following, but, doing the same stuff as Gary V. Gary V was in on it.
Yep.
I looked into it a little bit. Eron was really into it. Shout out to him. I don't know if he took profits. I think he did. I didn't follow sports, so I wasn't one to say, oh, I got a rookie. I don't know if it's good, bad. I don't know. I haven't followed sports in a while, but if I were, go Hawks, go Cowboys. Go Rockets. I like the Rockets more than the Hawks. Don't tell
Ooh.
anybody here. And Cowboys. Go. I shouldn't say this in Atlanta. Go Astros. I know they
Aw.
cheat and
Yeah.
everything too, and they're terrible. But I really love Jeff Bagwell and Craig Biggio back
Hey.
in the day. I was a fan of the Killer Bees.
Yeah.
Derek Bell too. All right, Ethereum's Bellatrix upgrade hiccups, jangled nerves, but it'll be right on the night. Let's hope. I love how they're speculating on software here. I wish I shared their optimism. The Bellatrix upgrade preparing ETH for the merge was successfully completed on Tuesday. However, concerns were raised over an almost 1 in 10 missed block rate across the last 600 slots. They added that the 9% figure was 1,700% higher than the historical missed block rate of 0.5%. The issue may be related to the 25.6% of clients that Ethernode cites as not ready for the merge. I would definitely say it is that. Though if we see things like validators dropping off the network due to configuration issues, missed blocks, slots, or some clients having major bugs, these things wouldn't be cause for major concern as they are relatively easy to recover from. We said it before, we're changing the wings. We're like filling up a gas of an airplane while it's in the air. I think they're going to be pretty careful. I am from Houston. Yeah.
Well, and yeah, that's what I was going to say on that ETH story too. This is not saying 100%. This is pure speculation, but something to keep in mind is there are profit opportunities from chaos around this merge.
Yep.
This is something I've been talking about for a while. So this could be intentionally done by people that have, that control some of the infrastructure, if that makes sense. People not updating their software, their nodes, their clients because they know it will cause these things to push these flags out that scare people and push the price down. So, and they're looking for arbitrage opportunities. So just keep that in mind. It is obviously you never want to see this. We all want to see no hiccups, everything goes as smoothly as possible. But this doesn't surprise me, I guess is what I'm saying. And
yeah, it
or
does surprise
concern
me. No West Coast team as someone else. You had a Lakers hat yesterday. I'm a fan of Kobe.
Yeah.
I like the Mamba mentality. And I think today's society needs more Mamba mentality. And to me, that just means strength in the face of adversity and making the hard choice when you know it's the right choice. And so, yeah, Mamba mentality to the grave here. All right, Degens borrowing ETH. And this is kind of to TJ's point, there's opportunity here. Degens borrowing ETH to get fork tokens create headache for DeFi platforms. Aave has halted ETH lending until the merge has gone through, and Compound Finance has opted to cap the number of loans and introduce a jump interest rate model. The growing number of speculators taking out Ether loans to maximize their potential to earn forked Ether proof-of-work tokens has been causing headaches for DeFi protocols. On Tuesday, the Aave governance community overwhelmingly voted in favor of halting ETH lending in the interim period leading up to the merge. Vote yesterday, 78% essentially in favor there, halting that. ETH flows on exchanges. Users are certainly positioning themselves to get free tokens despite numerous stablecoins and projects distancing themselves from a proof-of-work chain. Talked about this yesterday. I don't think it's going to pull a Bitcoin Gold. I don't think it's going to have, a significant portion of Ethereum's price, but I mean, it's probably not going to be worth $0. I have no idea. I'm not even going to try to speculate what I think proof of work ETH is. I mean, is that something you care venturing into?
I would say proof of work ETH will be worth at least 90% less than real Ethereum within a year. And I don't know, it could go quick. It could take a little bit of time, but without the support of all of the other Ethereum ecosystem, if it's not supported on ETH proof of work, it'll just fade into nothing, just like we saw with a lot of even more dramatically than what we've seen with Bitcoin Fork. So if you look at Bitcoin SV, Bitcoin ABC, Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Diamond, all of those eventually, when they first launched, say it might have launched at 60% of Bitcoin's value, and then it slowly went to 50, then to 40, then to 30, then to 20, then to 10. And the same thing, I think, will happen just much quicker with
as Cowan puts it, it will bleed against Ethereum.
Yes.
Slowly but surely. It will bleed against it. Now, you'll see crazy pumps like you see with Luna Classic or ETH Classic. But yeah, long term, it will bleed against Ethereum. Tom Crown, I'm not sure you and the altcoin twins are giants. To be fair, we're what are they? They're like 6'2", 6'3". They're about my height.
Yeah, they're about. I'd say 6'3", 6'4". But yeah, could be 6. Yeah, 6'3".
Oh yeah, they're California. They're Hollywood, so they're 6'3", but they say 6'4". All right. How Polygon-based transactions are beginning to compete with Ethereum. The Polygon maximalists have been having a good time after a range of new developments took place recently on the network. Lark Davis, come on the show, Lark, confirmed that Matic surpassed 2 billion lifetime transactions. Would love to have him on ATB. Someone let him know. Get him on ATB. Since Polygon's inception, Ethereum has been able to complete over 1.5 billion transactions compared to Polygon's latest milestone. And you kind of see the adoption curve here, kind of crossing over. Furthermore, as per the Polygon News Twitter account Polygon Daily, move over altcoin, the network hit a new milestone for Polygon-based NFTs. They are now, on average, closer to a penny. As per this tweet, NFT sales volume reached a monthly all-time high on Polygon at 100 million in August, which is actually pretty high for Polygon there. Where's Matic headed? However, the rise of L2 scaling solutions such as Arbitrum and Optimism will be a major threat to Polygon's growth. It is widely speculated that we are approaching the L2 season, which will be headed by these two protocols. Yeah, I definitely want to DCA into those. I'm kind of resource poor after my Solana mint. I had to spend about 30 Solana, give or take, to mint that Ute. So that, yeah, I had to pull away some of my DCA tether, which was unfortunate there. Where are we at? We got the Ripple story, Ripple CBDC. Ripple advisor teases more CBDC announcements in the next few weeks. I don't think you can really be a successful chain unless you got a strong stablecoin environment. Ripple may soon unveil positive developments in its central bank digital currency projects, following hints from Ripple advisor and Anthony Welfare of more announcements to come. Just last week, Ripple was identified as one of the initial participants of a technical sandbox program launched by US-based think tank Digital Dollar Project, aimed at exploring potential technical and business ramifications of a CBDC in the USA. The competition attracted 483 participants to build a CBDC-focused app that either improve interoperability of CBDCs and digital assets, or make it easier for retail use and interaction, or bring banking to undeserved populations. All things that are good. Look, there are some positives with CBDCs. It's not all negative. It's not all, Big Brother 1984. There are some good things, banking the unbanked and providing providing monetary stability to people. People in El Salvador probably bought the top 69K, and then, their water heater breaks, and then they got to try to sell that 20K Bitcoin to pay for that water heater. That's not fun. That's not a good feeling. So we need, some, especially emerging markets, stable, little extra stabilities can go a long way. All right. Do we have time for some quick hits?
Yeah, do some quick hits. And if you guys have any questions, drop it in the chat now.
Okay. I know there's one good towards the end I wanted to share here. Not the stablecoin. I think it might have been the last one. Yeah. Meta, I'll just briefly mention this because we might do a little deeper dive on ATB. Meta to open 10 metaverse campuses as part of a $150 million immersive learning project. Did you happen to hear the Zuck's interview on Joe Rogan?
No, I have not. No.
It's pretty good. It's about 3 hours long. He tries to, basically is the bombshell, quote unquote, from that is the FBI went to them ahead of the Hunter Biden laptop story. That's kind of like the big thing everyone's talking about. But he talks a lot about the metaverse. He talks about a lot of the investments, and he talks a lot about why we're investing in this thing that seemingly is a money pit. We're losing billions of dollars, but here is why. And it's pretty interesting. And a lot of it just goes into, you just want to do cool things with your friends, and not only, some is not going to work. But an example that he gave that I found interesting was poker with your friends, where you don't even have cards, you just have digital cards. And, the game can kind of picture, and everyone's sitting at their table, but it's all in the video game, you're all at the same poker table with your buddies. And stuff like that could be pretty cool.
I mean,
how could you listen to that robot for 3 hours?
Once people get in and start playing with it, the applications will definitely reveal themselves. It's definitely a more tangible way to socially interact. It's clearly the next iteration of social engagement. Whether you call it media or not is up to you. I played around in altcoin, in alt space, which is Microsoft's metaverse. It's been around. You can access it on just a regular computer or on an Oculus. And to the card game effect you were talking about, they had Cards Against Humanity. Just a random.
Oh, that's another good one.
Just a random room of people playing Cards Against Humanity, and it sucks you in, man. You're playing with strangers, even not even people you know, and it was funny and entertaining. And all of a sudden, I was like, man, I was just wandering around, and now I've been doing this stupid game for like an hour, and it's engaging. So it's not it's not surprising to me to see that's the direction things are heading.
Favorite metaverse coin between Manasand, Gala, or Ape? It's Ape. DZ and TJ's favorite altcoin, ETH or ADA.
Yeah, it would be ETH or ADA. Like if you want kind of a deep pick, or something else new to look into, I would. For me, I'm very prone to smart contract platforms, but on that story he was just covering a few minutes ago regarding Ethereum layer 2s, I do think that's going to be a trend for the next cycle.
That's what I'm looking at. My next DCA targets is HBAR, Arbitrum, Optimism.
Yeah, I'm looking at Arbitrum and Optimism specifically because I know I've been hearing about those two for about 2 years now on the development side, and developers I know love.
Yeah, it's like early Solana vibes, and I'm not saying 100x's and it works,
or
but
really
I'm just,
early
that's
Matic
what I'm
vibes
getting.
is what it gives me. And I saw, I missed the first time I heard about Matic. I didn't purchase it. It was something. It was called something else at the time, I think, or maybe it was Matic, just
or
not
Polygon Matic.
Yeah, I can't remember, but it was under a penny. And Zombie told us about it, and he said it was legit. It's sticking around. I'll never forget him telling me about it. And then it just went on to do crazy things. Optimism, Arbitrum, not saying they're the same, but could be in the same category.
Filecoin, I don't hate it. It actually has use case. We'll see. Filecoin's easier to scale out than a Helium, but we'll see because they're trying to be like a legit company, which I'm bullish on.
Another couple of questions we pulled from earlier in the show from David Ferrani. Thoughts on staked ETH soaking up trading supply after the merge? Price goes up? ? What do you think?
Staked ETH, that's not a bad thought experiment because there's going to be less ETH, and we talked about supply shocks on trading exchanges before. I could see it, but I could also see it lasting a very short window, the 48 hours before it happens, the 13th and the 14th, but then afterwards that supply not being that small anymore, but leading up to it, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit of a too drastic move to the upside. Maybe a 4% pump, all of a sudden it's like a 9% pump or 11% pump, but I wouldn't expect anything too wild.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I would treat it very similar to a Bitcoin halving if you just want something. I know it's very different, but if you want something contextually to compare it to, with the Bitcoin halving, you see, positive price movements moving up to the halving. Day of, really nothing all that significant happens. You might see something kind of like what DZ was referring to right before or right after. But that being said, the supply shock does matter and does hit the system, and you see it reflected in the price over time. Probably not as quickly as you'd think it was, because I remember, I was waiting, May 2020, like, oh, here's here's the halving, everything's gonna go from there, and it did, but not the way I thought, not as fast as I thought. It just slowly inched up for the rest of 2020, and then really blew up in 2021. Probably be very similar with Ethereum, where you're going to see some positive action. Maybe it performs better than Bitcoin, maybe faster than Bitcoin, maybe not. Maybe it just tracks along with Bitcoin. But then when the whole market starts moving back up again, I think that's when you're really going to feel the supply shock and the squeeze on the less Ethereum coming into the system. Next, Yobolix. DZ, how do you feel about Gods token?
Recently just started playing in the past week. They just introduced Gods Unchained, little background, Gods Unchained trading card game that uses IMX, Immutable X on Ethereum. I spent about $100 worth of Ethereum on some cards a week ago. Been playing a little bit, and they're giving out daily Gods rewards. I think Gods is around 33 cents. I play a couple games. I think I made around 9, so I made like $3. I played I made like $1 a game. Is that great? No. Am I gonna, hey TJ, here's my 2 weeks? No, I'm not gonna do that anytime soon for $1 a game. But it's a lot better than a lot of these play to earn games where you see it on Wax, you see it on other chains where you're making 17 cents for a week. So Gods Unchained, it's really good. It's a fun game. I definitely recommend checking it out. Let us know if you want some of that content on Hit Network Gaming. If you haven't been following Hit Network Gaming, make sure you follow that. I might even have a MTG video pop up on there in the next couple days or today maybe. So check out Hit Network Gaming. Also, make sure you're following Hit Network. Make sure you're following all the sister channels, NFT Alpha, Frankie Candles, Meta Money, Tom Crown. Make sure you follow Tom Crown. Hit that like button while you're here. It doesn't cost you anything. Just hit it. Hit it now. I'm waiting for 7 more people to hit it. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, thank you, 7th person. We're gonna just keep the show going until the sun came down. But all right, that's all we got time for. You'll see me at 5 p.m. and until next time, BitSquad, easy.